One of the teams with actually negative cap space entering the offseason. So what did they do? They traded Keenan Allen. They released Mike Williams and Eric Kendricks. They restructured Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack and Corey Linsley. They were able to bring in running back Gus Edwards and tight end Will Dissly. They also hold the 5th pick in the draft. New head coach Jim Harbaugh spoke today about where they are positioned.
If 4 quarterbacks go in the first 4 picks, that's not like the 5th pick anymore. That's like the number 1 pick of the draft for teams that have a great quarterback already. Maybe 4 quarterbacks don't go in a row. And it's unprecedented that's ever happened, but maybe there's still another quarterback there when the 5th pick comes around and somebody wants to. Again, that would be like the number 1 pick. It wouldn't be like the calculator for the 5th pick anymore. But yeah, if it comes around to us and we're on the clock at number 5, we know we got a great player that's going to be there for us.
Acho, we do know this. The Chargers have the luxury of a top 5 pick. We know they don't need a quarterback. So should they stay there, or would you like to see them trade back?
I'd love to see them trade back, Hannah. I think about what Harbaugh's building, what he's going to build in LA. And I think about when I was playing against Harbaugh back in 2011 and 2014 in San Francisco. It was a run-first outfit, a physical outfit, a defensive-minded football team. And so I don't think you need to go necessarily left tackle and go get Joe Alt at number 5. Maybe you can trade back and maybe still get a tackle later on in the draft. You have your studs at defensive end, Joey Bosa. You have Khalil Mack, who had 17.5 sacks. So defensive end, you're fine. But I think you need to trade back, continue to add draft capital, and then lean on your bell cow and Gus Edwards at the running back position, lean on your running game, and then find ways for your quarterback to continue to improve.
Yeah, I agree that I think a trade back should certainly be on the table. I think for slightly different reasons for me. I would still love for them to get a number 1 wide receiver, regardless of Harbaugh's desire to run the football. This is one of the worst receiving groups in the NFL. You have a real opportunity there, as Harbaugh said, to get a player who, if there were no quarterbacks, might be the best in the draft. That could be like a Marvin Harrison Jr. That said, and Sam alluded to this roster is full of holes. It's not just receiver. It's not just potentially right tackle. You're talking about defensive tackle, linebacker, cornerback. I mean, there are more positions of need than positions where they're set, quite frankly, and even bringing back those edge rushers who are getting up in the years and have suffered through some injuries at points, that's a position they could augment as well. So I think if you're sitting there at 5, because that position that is so potentially desirable to another team, say another team that wants to come up and get a quarterback, you take offers, and if a team offers you a haul, you probably take it if you're LA.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's in LA. They want to put fans in the seats. And I tell you what, Justin Herbert to Marvin Harrison Jr., that would be a lot of fun there in the bright lights of LA. All right, let's stick with the Chargers. We all know they don't need a quarterback. Harbaugh was singing the praises of the quarterback he won a championship with at Michigan. Take a listen.
I've said it before. I think it's well documented. I think he's the best quarterback in the draft. And that's just what I think, just my opinion. He's the one who plays quarterback, of all the quarterbacks that are in the draft. There's great quarterbacks in the draft. I think he plays quarterback the best of any quarterback in the draft.
Well, that's interesting. Dan Graziano joins us just in time to weigh in on this one. So best quarterback in the draft, better than Williams and Daniels and May. What do you make of Harbaugh talking up his guy to such an extent, Graz?
Well, I mean, obviously, he's got a little bit of bias, right? The guy just helped him win a national championship at Michigan, and I'm sure that he feels very strongly about him. But the other thing is, you heard in the first comments about the idea of the number 5 pick. I think he's in salesman mode, right? Like, if you want the number 5 pick, come get it. It's going to cost you more than the number 5 pick usually would, because it's effectively the number 1 pick because the quarterbacks went. So he's trying to make sure to gin up the market a little bit for that number 5 pick. And I think calling J.J. McCarthy the top quarterback in the draft will serve the same purpose, right? Hey, you can come up and get the top quarterback in the draft at pick 5. So the Chargers are in a great spot, as you alluded to. They could sit tight at 5 and take one of the wide receivers. We saw Mike Williams get released. We saw Keenan Allen get traded. So obviously that's a position of need. But if someone makes them a great offer, they are just like Arizona at 4. They are willing to listen, and they're in a great spot. Top 5 pick, and you don't need a quarterback. that is a dream spot in the NFL draft.
Yeah, I was going to say he could be sending people up to that number 4 spot with all that talk about McCarthy, and not necessarily at number 5.